my name is Rachel Hutto and I'm a registered and licensed dietitian. Today we're going to walk through the nutrition fact label, talk a little bit about what the information is telling you, and be able to decide a healthy option when you're looking at them at the store. So the first place we're going to start on this nutrition fact label is looking at the serving size up at the top. It's really important that we start there because everything on that nutrition fact label is referring back to that serving size. I tell patients all the time, a pint of ice cream looks like it should be a single serving size. Sometimes I eat it as a single serving size. However, if you actually look at the nutrition fact label, it tells you that there is 4 servings in that pint and a serving size is only half of a cup. And so things that look like they might be single servings aren't necessarily always single servings. So we gotta look and see what the portion size is. So we can see here when we look at the serving size that 1 serving is 3 3/4 cup. That's the volume of serving. If we look beside it, we can see 28 grams. And so that's gonna be the actual density of the serving. And so whenever you're looking at something and one thing might say 3 cups and something else might say 3 cups, but one might say 28 grams and the other one might say 35 grams, you're gonna get more for the 35 grams. So it's important to look at both of those whenever we're saying, okay, am I getting more bang for my buck? So that's the first place we're gonna start, and then we're gonna start moving down through the rest of it. So the first thing that we're gonna see up top is the calories per serving. So we can see here that there's 150 calories per serving, and so in that 3 3/4 cup serving, there's 150 calories. Next on the list is our total fat. So we can see here that it tells us 9 grams of fat, and then we see this 12% out beside there. These percentages are going to revert back to percent daily value. Now this percent daily value is based off of a 2,000 calorie diet. So if you're not following a 2,000 calorie diet, it might not be the best source of information for you. So just keep that portion of that in mind. Under the total fat, it's going to break down saturated fats, trans fats, and then this nutrition fact label actually talks about unsaturated fats. Not all of them are going to, because if it's not listed under saturated or trans fats, we can just assume that the rest are unsaturated fats. Now, what's the difference? Unsaturated fats are considered heart healthy. We can see here that we have polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. Saturated fats are considered less heart healthy. We really want to shoot for less than 10% of our caloric intake coming from saturated fats. And then trans fats are actually being removed from all foods, and we should really shoot for 0 grams of trans fats whenever we're looking at the food label, and you're actually not going to see that in the coming years because it has been considered not safe. The next thing that we're gonna see is cholesterol. Then we can go down and look at sodium. So this has 150 milligrams of sodium. Recommendations are 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day. It's about a teaspoon of salt. It's not a ton. Anything that has 140 milligrams or less in a serving is considered a low sodium food. So if you are looking to cut back your sodium, you might want to look for foods that have less than 140 milligrams in them. But if you add it up over the course of a day, you're looking for 2,300 milligrams total. Underneath sodium, we see total carbohydrates. So this is where all of our carbohydrates are coming from. It gives us the total number. Underneath it, it's going to break it down into fiber, it's going to break it down into sugar, and then this is actually going to break sugar down into added sugars as well. If those numbers don't add up to the total carbohydrates, that's normal. We have starches that aren't going to be listed under carbohydrates that are also going to add back to that carbohydrate intake. So here we can see that it says 16 grams of carbohydrate in this 3 3/4 cup serving. And we see that 2 grams of that 16 is considered fiber, and 0 grams of that 16 is considered sugar. So we have 16 grams of carbohydrate, 2 grams of it is fiber. So the other 14 is coming from sources not listed on the food label. And then underneath that, we're going to see protein. And so this tells us that we have 2 grams of protein, again, back in this 3 3/4 cup serving. Last but not least, we're going to see a handful of micronutrients listed here. We have vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium listed, and that's what you're going to see on most average food labels. Some food labels are going to go a little bit more in depth and talk a little bit more about some other micronutrients, but it's going to give us our micrograms and our milligrams of these micronutrients just to give you some information of how much you're taking in a day. So whenever we look through this, sometimes we ask ourselves the question, is this completely accurate? We can actually list 0 grams of sugar if it's less than 0.5 grams. We can list things as 0 fat as long as it's less than, again, that 0.5 grams. So while it might not be 100% accurate, it's fairly accurate and is looked at in a very scientific way to really find all of this information out for you.